Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Give Books. Hey Jen, what are we talking about today?
Well, in our Black Voices Matter Bingo Square, sorry, trying to get the paper, we are talking about debut authors.
Cool, do you want to go first?
Sure. Alright, so my first pick is a adult book and my other two are YA. So the first one is The Wedding Date. This is Jasmine Guillroy. The main character gets stuck in an elevator with a guy she doesn't know. They kind of have a wine and cheese party, which is kind of funny. And then she agrees to be a wedding date for him. So it's kind of funny. This is the first of a series, which the last one I think is coming out this year. They're all really fun, really cute. One of the romances, it takes place in England. There's a little royal spin on that one. So a lot of fun.
Cool.
And food. Lots of food.
That's good.
I like food.
I like food too. I also like cheese. Alright, so my first book is Tochi Onyebuchi's Beast Made of Night. So he is actually a local author. He's kind of a good author. This is his debut YA fantasy book. He writes both YA and adult. We have his other adult book upstairs, Riot Baby. So Beast Made of Night is like a real high fantasy world. It's pretty cool. It has kind of a let's overthrow the government type feel to it. Essentially there's a group of like outcast kids that are of use by the nobles because they have a special ability where they can eat your sen. And every time they eat your sen, they get a new tattoo that just magically shows up on them. Hence like the Beast Made of Night. And the main character, what is his name? Taj. Taj, he's like the best at it. He's like so good at it, but the problem is like you can't keep eating other people's sen because eventually it will drive you mad. And you're haunted by all of these ghosts of things that you didn't even do. Some rich lord did it. So he ends up like intervening, like he and his best friend go for like this whole sin eating thing. He ends up intervening and like eating the largest sin that's like ever manifested from like, I think it's the king's son. And originally it's his best friend that's supposed to do it. And he's like, no, you can't handle it. He doesn't want him to die. And so he steps in. And it changes him. And then he starts seeing, he kind of gets, because of that, he gets favor with the court. And so he kind of gets pulled into a lot of like we don't like what's going on. There's a secret network of spies. There's all of this like, what's the word? Espionage kind of going on to like overthrow the government and seat a new ruler. He gets pulled into it, and it's really good. This is the first one of a duology too, so if you don't have an any do a trilogy right now, this is a really cool duology. Also, it's just really great because it's very different from a lot of other fantasy books I've ever read, so I really enjoyed it.
Nice. My next one is Fake ID by Lamar, Giles. This is a YA one. I'm going to read the taglines because I think they're really good. My name isn't really Nick Pearson, and I shouldn't tell you where I'm from. I shouldn't tell you why my family moved to Stepton, Virginia, and I shouldn't tell you who I am, or my hair, eye, or skin color. And I definitely shouldn't tell you about my friend Eli Cruz, and the major conspiracy Eli was about to uncover when he died, right after I moved to town.
That sounds like a mystery.
It does.
Okay, my next debut is a new one that just came out from the past couple months. It's Robert Jones Jr.'s The Prophets. So this is a historical fiction too, and I think we also have that on our list somewhere, possibly. Or maybe that was in romance.
I think it's in romance.
Just kidding. It is an LGBT story as well. So it takes place during American slavery, and there are two slaves who actually are in a relationship, Isaiah and Samuel. And things are as good as it can be for them in a not great situation. And at least they're together, and no one really has a problem with them being together. And then all of a sudden, this new slave comes in, and he's very evangelical, and really starts mixing things up. And all of a sudden, people start looking at Isaiah and Samuel and being like, that's not right. And so it's basically their struggles. This book has been said to have the lyricism reminiscent of Toni Morrison, which I think is very interesting. So this is definitely on my to-be-read list, and I'm hyped to read it. So it's a little bit more of like a serious book. as opposed to my other fantasy book, but I still think it'll be a good read.
Nice. My last one for this category is Legendorn. This one just came out. It's by Tracy Deonn. I don't think I pronounced that right.
Tracy Deonn?
Deonn. I'm not very good at those. And this is an Arthurian legend story. There's a secret society. There is a magical attack. Breeze, 16 years old, her mom dies in an accident, and afterwards she witnesses a magical attack. There's a mysterious teenager who calls himself Marlin. You kind of get where we're going with this. This, I have not read this yet, but everyone has been talking about this and raving about it, so I'm excited to read it.
Yes. It will fulfill those fantasy needs.
Yes.
Cool. So next we're going to move on to romance. Which square are we talking about?
Dude, where's my shirt?
So the first book I have is Berverly Jenkins' Forbidden. So this one also checks off first in a series on your romance list as well, I believe. And it is historical fiction as well, so you get like a couple other things. Let's see. So this one takes place. It's like it's set like as a western, and the main character Ryan Fontaine is actually passing as white. He's a black man, but nobody knows that. He's in Nevada, and then he ends up meeting Edie Carmichael, who is black, and she's a cook, and apparently like her cooking is like absolutely amazing. She's trying to make it farther west to California, but I think Ryan kind of holds her up a little bit. So you'll have to read more to find out.
Alright, my first one is It's Getting Scot in Here.
I was looking for that one.
So you can see that we do have these tags. This one definitely says, "Dude, where's my shirt?" He's in a nice kilt. It is part of the Wild Wicked Highlander. So obviously this goes historical as well. So London's socialite, Amelia Rose Baxter, is nobody's fool. She, of course, wants a sophisticated husband, and probably not the rugged Highlander that she's pictured with on here. Will she make a great match? Is the rugged Highlander a good match? Find out.
Cool. So my next book is Tessa Dare's The Duchess Deal. Tessa Dare has written a whole bunch of Duchess books, I feel like, or books about dukes. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So it's also historical fiction. He's mostly got his shirt off, so we'll call it "Dude, Where's My Shirt?" We can see where his shirt is, but we'll just go with it. I had to go through several shelves to find. Also, I wanted a book I actually liked, like book talk. But, like, Tessa Dare is always a fun author.
She's great. She's really funny. I am always laughing in her books.
Yeah, and like, didn't you say like you read this one and it's actually inspired by Deadpool?
I did.
Which is kind of cool. So yeah, so it's kind of funny. So the Duke of Ashbury has returned from war, and he's like horribly scarred and stuff. He needs to like produce an heir, so he needs to get a wife like this. But like apparently he has a list of demands as well. So like they will be husband and wife by night only. No lights, no kissing, no questions about battle scars. Last and most importantly, once she's pregnant with his heir, they never need share a bed again. Like he's just like, just need the kid and get out. But Emma, who's the vicar's daughter, turned seamstress, is like, well, I have my own demands. They will have dinner together every night, with conversation and unlimited teasing. And last, most importantly, once she's seen the man beneath the scars, he can't stop her from falling in love. So, I mean, it's Tessa Dare. You can't not love it. It'll be hilarious. Just like Berverly Jenkins gives you like an amazing historical fiction you may not have thought about before, Tessa Dare always gives you a funny historical fiction.
She does. She's great. That book was great. And I think it's the first of a series too. So check that off as well.
Cool. This is huge. What is this?
It is huge. So this is Suzanne Brockmann, Do or Die, part of her Reluctant Heroes. So if anyone follows the romance world, Suzanne Brockmann won, or was the keynote speaker at RWA a couple years back, and she...
Hold up, what is RWA for some of our readers?
So it's Romance Writers of America. It went through some really terrible times because there's a lot of racism in the community, in the organization, so we don't really like to talk about them a lot, but she gave a really amazing speech. She was the keynote. She was very open and honest and just put it all out there, and I really liked it. So she writes, as you can maybe see, thrillers. Romantic thrillers, which is great. So if you like thrillers and you like romance, she's the gal for you.
So it's like the book version of The Bodyguard kind of thing?
Yeah, but like action-packed.
Okay.
Like, mix like a good spy thriller with that, and yeah. So he's a Navy SEAL, she's a lawyer, there's problems, lots of action, lots of danger, romance. It's great.
Okay. Alright, so that has been this week's version of Get Booked. We will see you next week. Who knows what we'll talk about.
See you later.